Hi, today I want to talk about the Ascension, the Great Awakening, the 5D consciousness, the raising vibrations that everybody keeps talking about. This is all, so that's what I'm going to talk about today. This is all about transitioning from a lower vibration world of survival into a higher vibrational world of thriving. And this is the chaos that we've been going through. I'm not going to go into what the evolution is because I want to talk more about the symptoms and the experience that people are having as they go through this. Some people are just merrily going about their way and they're really not that affected by it at this point. And then there's others of us that are absolutely exhausted. Every part of our body goes through weird aches and pains. We have all these sensations. We might have feelings of being out of body or surreal or dysmorphia, where we don't connect with our physical body and our physical world. And we can have vision problems. We can get a lot of headaches, tension, things like this. There's a wide variety of strange things that we can start feeling. And I wanted to tap into what this was about. So right now, we've as a humanity, we've come to the understanding and we know that we are actually made of energy. There is no solid matter. Science keeps finding this out. The deeper they go, when they think they find something that is solid, and then they develop technology and are able to look a little closer at it, and they go deeper into it, and they realize, oh, it's not solid. It's actually energy in motion. And so the deeper they go, the more they find that every part of our bodies is simply energy in motion at different levels, different densities. So really, and as spiritualists, we are pretty aware of that. It's pretty common language actually in all of human societies. Most of us are talking in terms of our vibrations, the awareness that we are energetic beings. Well, what's happening is that this energy is actually learning to vibrate at a higher frequency. Now, when science goes and they put a fluid in a petri dish and they put it on a device that they can control the frequency, when they increase the frequency, what happens is that the liquid, the pattern, first of all, when they turn on the frequency, they'll develop a pattern. And then when they increase the frequency, that pattern will start to shake and fall apart and dissolve into a state of chaos that has no pattern. And then it'll reshape itself into a new pattern. And this new pattern, if the frequency has gone up, then this new pattern will actually be more detailed. It'll have more information in it. Okay. Many people will say it's more beautiful. But if they lower the frequency, the same thing happens. It breaks down and then reforms into a new pattern, but the pattern will be more simple. And that's basically what's happening on the earth. So as we're raising our vibrations, our entire systems are breaking down and reshaping into a higher vibration. And why do we know it's a higher vibration? Well, we do that because of the Schumann resonance. It's increasing the solar flares, the astrology, the lineup with the planets, where we are in the solar year, and all of this. All of these things come into alignment. We're at the end of a 5,000 year cycle. We're actually also at the end of a 12,000 year cycle in the cosmos. So all these things align, and I'm not going to go into them right now. I've done that in the past. I've done courses on it and everything. So go look through my videos and you'll find information on some of that. But what I want to talk about is, so this is just the basics of what is actually happening. So we know that the frequency is rising. We are beings, we have physical bodies. So yes, we're energetic, cosmic soul beings, but our soul energy has actually lowered its vibration, or a portion of its soul vibration, down into the third dimensional physical realm in order to experience life here. Now, one of the reasons why our souls do this, because it's a lot of work. Okay, first of all, let's be clear here that it is not easy for a soul to slow down its energy, its vibration enough and lower its vibration enough to actually be here on earth. It's not easy. And so why would a soul bother? I mean, many of us in spirituality have thought to ourselves going, why? Right? Why did I choose this? This is crazy. Only like what could my soul possibly have been thinking to come down here and live through such a difficult place? Earth is not easy, right? The polarities of Earth, which again I talk about in other videos, but the polarities of Earth where we've got the extremities, that makes it really difficult. And so souls know this coming in, but why would they choose to do it? It's because in third dimension, we have the five senses. We have an ability to touch, we have ability to smell, to hear, to see, to taste. Like we have this incredible sensory system that interacts, and it's only in the physical form that a soul can really experience it. And so that is the beauty of why it comes here. Now, many of us are what we call a star child or a star seed. And that's a soul that normally does not come to Earth very often. And they tend to live in higher vibration planets and spaces in the cosmos. And they spend most of their time there. So they're not used to being in the lower density of Earth. But right now, because of this unusual time we're going through, we've decided to come here and help humanity raise this vibration of the earth and go in and become a higher vibrational planet. Okay. But in order to raise the vibrations of the planet, we have to reveal the division. So that polarity aspect that it makes Earth so interesting, this has to be revealed. Um, and the part of this polarity that we have been ignoring, we have to shine light on it, and we shine light by observing it. So this is why we have so much chaos right now. We have so much division going on. All right. And we have the polarities, both polarities have a strength to them that they basically they want to win, right? Well, from a soul perspective, we actually want to be in peace and we want to ride the wave of love. All right, which many people believe is actually over here when we're strongly aligned to love and we're vibrating only in love and we choose this polarity and we have a way of tunneling ourselves and going that dark side doesn't exist. But the reality is we actually have to acknowledge that dark side. We have to shine light on it and get rid of the shadows. We have to acknowledge the polarity so that we can understand who we truly are and we learn how to ride that polarity. Okay, that's what the whole earth experience is about. And right now, as we're raising out of that lower vibration into a higher vibration, we can no longer deny those shadows. So, this is a lot of the spiritual work that we've been doing. Now, as spiritual people, and this is what I really wanted to get into, is that as spiritual people who have been doing this work for many of us have been doing this a very, very long time, like 60 years, 70 years, like very long. Um, and up until now, there has been, it's like, as time has come closer to now, so if we go further back in history, it took more effort, it took more ritual, more mechanisms in order to get our soul consciousness or actually to get our human consciousness and our ego to calm down enough that we access our subconscious and tap into our soul energy. Okay. It took a lot more ritual. Nowadays, we tend to do it fairly quickly. All right. For instance, in the old days, back in the 60s, if you were learning to read the Akashic records, there was all this meditation that you had to go through, this preparation of your body. You had to be aware of what you were eating and how you were thinking and your thoughts. And you just really had to go through a whole guided process to get you into alignment with the Akashic records so that you could actually read this information. Nowadays, we go in and we tune, and it actually happens a lot faster. So because our consciousness is actually at a higher level, it's easier for us now. So anyhow, I digress. So what is so we're actually able to access this information a lot more. So a lot of us have been doing this spiritual work, and so it's self-development, it's spiritual understanding of the cosmos, this type of work. We're expanding our consciousness, understanding that spiritual soul of us. We've actually neglected the physical body. What we've done is we've stretched our energy out so that we have our spiritual side that is really in a high vibration. We have our thoughts and our emotions that reside somewhere in the middle, and then we have our physical experience. And the difference between our physical experience and where our souls reside has been stretched. All right. And that's because we're not um, it's about embodying and raising the vibration at a cellular level of the body. Okay. And so, what is happening right now for a lot of spiritually oriented people is that they are really feeling this stretch, and the energies of the ascension pattern that we've been going through for the last few months, it tends to hit the spiritualist person a lot harder because of this stretch that we've had going on. And so many of us right now are feeling the aches in our bodies, the pains, and the restless sleep or excessive sleep, just always feeling tired, feeling a lot of us are having nausea, and we're either drawn towards something or rejected away. We're very sensitive right now. Okay. And we can also find that we are wanting to distract ourselves by turning on our escape mechanisms, because it's a physical ascension we're going through, and it's hurting right now, and it's uncomfortable right now. And a lot of spiritual people are feeling this, and I myself have been going through this. And what it is the vibrations in your body are actually changing and transitioning. So how do we manage this? We need to move away from, don't let those distractions overtake us. And our distractions are like binging on Netflix or Prime or whatever it is that you're on. So the TV binging, the social media obsession, um, drinking, alcohol, drugs, all those things that we use to escape. All right. Even healthy escapes like exercise. Exercise is really good for the body. We need to do it. But a lot of us actually use exercise to escape but then this is when we funnel in and we shut out everything else and focus in. And it becomes an obsession in our life. Okay. It becomes a way that we can ignore the other aspects of our life by focusing in on something. All right. Another one is food. Food addictions are big right now. And so, how to manage that is to be in presence. It's really, really important that we be where we are. A lot of us that are aware of where we're going and feel that call to where we're going want to just, our souls are so excited for what's coming in the future. We want to jump into it. We don't want to take the time to ascend with our bodies. We just want to jump into that time in the future where we are living it. And what we need to do is stop ourselves and come back into present moment and feel our bodies. And really it comes down to enjoying the journey. We are in an ascension. We are doing a great awakening. We are raising our vibrations. We are moving from a 3D, 4D into a 5D consciousness. Okay, density. This is what we're doing, and it's a lot of physical work to do it, but it's a journey. It's not about the end destination. It's great to have the end destination in our vision because we know what we want to create, but we have to enjoy the journey, because that's where the real sweet spot of life is, right? It's where we are. Remember, your soul came here because this is a beautiful, exciting place to be. The third dimension has those wonderful senses, and we want to take those with us on this ascension, this great awakening. We want to take this body that we have with us and create a loving, more vibrant, more connected, thriving species of humanity into this higher conscious, higher vibrational level. But we want to do it with our physical bodies, which means we need to accelerate at a cellular level, which means we need to take our bodies with us. We need to tap into our bodies. We need to feel the senses. The more disconnected we are from our senses, the more we experience anxiety and depression and mental health issues. Okay, so take a step back, and we talk about grounding a lot in spirituality, and that's really good. We get our roots into the earth and everything, but we also need to ground by connection through the senses, physically and amongst each other. So we want our hugs. There's a difference when you hug somebody and you're higher outside of your body and working as spiritual all the time, but you bring that soul and have it residing in the body, and then you hug somebody. It is an actual sensation through the body that you feel. You feel the love physically. And this is something that we want to do. When we are outside in the earth, we want to feel the earth and notice the coldness on our hands, or the warmth on our hands, or the wetness, the dryness, whatever the textures that are on our hands, because every spot on the earth is unique. When we touch that, we want to tap into and try and feel the vibrations that are actually coming off from the ground that we're on. We want to hear all the little noises. Like right now, if I tune in, one of the things I hear is the fan operating on my computer. Yes, I have one of those old-fashioned computer towers, but I can hear the fan going on it. But then I stop, and then I can hear there's actually a clock in the other part of my house that ticks. I can hear it when I tune in. I can hear my dog breathing. She kind of snores a little bit as she sleeps. I can also hear birds outside every once in a while. So these are the things that we want to tap into. It's our senses and being in that present moment and being in awareness. And when we do it, our anxieties will come down. I'm going to do another video and talk a lot more about anxiety and depression, but I just right now want to briefly bring up the anxiety and depression issue, because it's huge. And I do not replace medical advice. There's my disclaimer. I am not a medical professional. I'm a spiritualist. Don't ever go against your doctors, blah, blah, blah. You know the drill, okay? Not my responsibility. Be responsible for yourself. Number one in spirituality, you are responsible for yourself and yourself alone. You are not responsible for anybody else, but you are responsible for yourself. The more responsibility you take for yourself, the more in power you are, which means the higher your vibrations go. All right. And again, I'll have another video on that. Responsibility is huge. Sidetrack back. Okay. Anxiety and depression. What I wanted to talk about is right now there's a huge, huge, huge push, growth in anxiety and depression, especially with our youth. So what is causing this is that our souls know that we are capable of being higher dimension. We feel it in our bodies, but the vibration we're holding as souls, the vibration we're holding in connection with our body is often in contrast to the world around us, to the families that we're incarnated with, to our friends and community that we're involved with, to the structures of how our world works, our food, our education, our institutions, our health, our governments, all of that is out of alignment with our souls. And it's the awareness of this misalignment without actually being able to change it yet, because it's a gradual change. We have to shine the light on the shadows. We have to observe it and then choose something different. And currently, right now, on a global scale, humanity is still just revealing shadows. We haven't chosen as a mass something different. we're starting to, the people that are in the front lines of this movement are choosing different. And if you watch on my Facebook, I often, and in my groups and stuff, I will often post new technology that is sustainable, right? That sustainable life. And I try and post as many of those good stories as I can, and shine as much light as you can on the beauty of our future, because people really need to see the vision of where we're going, and it can be very, very beautiful. But anyhow, currently right now, that's not what we have going on. We have a revealing of shadows going on. So the contrast between the world around us and what we know inside is building a pressure. And that's what's driving forward this change for all of humanity. But on an individual level, when we are seeing the outside world and feeling something down in the difference, it's like we're constantly being being gaslighted by the world. We're what we know to be true, we're told is not true, and so there's this like, but it's not, and so there's a confusion that is down at the soul level, and this pressure between the two is what's causing the anxiety. And the depression comes from being the disconnection that's happening. So people who are very connected with the lower vibrations of the third dimension don't really have the depression issues. Those of us who realize where we're going and what we're capable of are more susceptible to depression, because the depression comes from being in awareness of that misalignment and feeling that misalignment, not being able to connect to, we are social beings, we're meant to be interconnected. And when we feel disconnected from what we know is true, it causes a depression. So the awareness is causing the anxiety, but the disconnect is causing the depression, which is why when we go out in nature and we connect to the earth and we eat food that is organic and aligned to our body and what our body is wanting. So this is not for saying that one diet is better than another diet. It's not about what you're eating. It's about aligning what you're eating with your body. It's what your body needs. Okay. So when we come into alignment with that, when we connect with our body and eat the food that our body is requiring, when we connect with the earth and we feel the vibrations of our earth, when we wear clothing of materials that are of natural fibers versus chemical and man-made chaos, we feel better. All right. So this is what it is. So for managing depression, the more we can connect to the world that we want to be, that we're moving into, the more settled our depression will be. The more we connect with people who have who are going through similar vibrational changes, and we open up and we share our experiences, the less depressed we will feel when we connect in with this new world. So that is why, and that is why our children feel it. The anxiety and depression is so rampant through amongst our young, is because they've come into this world and they are of a higher vibration. They're already aware of what the rest of us are going through. But they're young and they don't have any ability to take responsibility for themselves. Because this is another key. If you take responsibility for your being, not anybody else's responsibility, right? Learning to recognize what's yours, what's mine. I am responsible for me, right? And as children, we don't have that ability. Our children do not. They require assistance from adults. The older they get, the more they become responsible for themselves, but they still are heavily, heavily reliant on their parents. All right. And the adults in their life to provide for them. And so they are stuck in this position of being highly aware that the world is wrong. They are and the way they're in a position where they cannot control their circumstances. They simply have to live with them and learn how to navigate them. And our current society separates children from their parents younger and younger, and in more ways. We have indoctrines that are coming in and teaching our children wrong material. I mean, the science we're teaching our kids is not up to date. Our social studies, we tend to focus, our social studies, our literature, the education that we're giving our children is very negative focused. And we know better. We have the technology, we know better, but we're not teaching it to them. And so these kids are in these schools going, you're not teaching me the right information. You're not showing me a world of hope. And yet I know we're moving into a world of hope. So talk about being gaslit. Our entire society is set up to gaslight children. And that's why we have such a high level of anxiety and depression with our kids. So the more that you can realize that, the more that you can explain to your kids that we are going through this transition and that there is hope, because the future, I promise you, the future is beautiful. Beautiful. Okay. The more that we can get that message across to our youth, the more that we can show them the realities that make this true, the easier they can cope with this frustration point that they're at of being aware and unable to do anything. Okay, and this disconnection. So the more we connect them with nature, the more we connect them with their bodies and the food that they're eating, and have connection with their world, the real world, and the more they can see and just like, I know it's not right. I know that the real world, that the world we're having to interact with is totally misaligned with where we should be. Unfortunately, right now, we just have to learn how to interact with that. But it doesn't have to overwhelm us and take over us because we do know the truth. So helping your children stand in the truth will relieve this anxiety and depression that is just damaging so many lives right now. So parents, here's my number one advice for you is make a point every single day to bring home good news. Okay. And when I say good news, I don't mean, a shadow that's been revealed and, there's been so many children rescued from child slavery, or there's been, I'm not talking about that. Those are good things. But I am talking about the good news about how they've created energy sources that actually do not. We have the ability, and there's actually Greg Braden has a really good video on this on energy source that will be free for all of humanity. And it has absolutely no damage to our society. We have that technology now. Bringing home those stories and showing your kids, look, this is what's coming down the line for your life. In your life, you are going to see free power. And what does that mean? And having the conversations with our kids going, what does it mean if all of a sudden electricity was free for everybody? Energy was free for everybody. How would that change our world? And when you ask kids that question, they just light up and they start really thinking about it. And it's amazing the visions that come out. So having those things. There's also research that have been done where there's university students that have actually created substances that are they are biodegradable. So it doesn't affect the environment. What it actually does is you put it into the ocean and it cleans up oil spills. I think it's a fungus or something like that cleans up oil spills. And so it's cleaning our oceans. We have that technology and we're learning how to implement it. Our media doesn't shine light on this, so we need to. All right. I really dove into this and I didn't mean to. I'm going to sign off now. I'm not sure, but it's kind of striking me that maybe my video might be off from my voice, and I apologize if that's disorienting. Hopefully, it's not doing that for you, but I hope you enjoyed this video, and like my channel, subscribe to my channel so you can get more of this communication. Check out my website for some of my services. Um, and I do coaching, Akashic Records, Reiki, all sorts of things. I am available for in-person sessions on Thursdays in Langley, as well as I have a few Saturdays booked that I'll be there as well. And I'm lining up. I might be in a few other locations as we go on, but I'm always available online. That's where I do a majority of my work. And so please reach out to me with that. And share with me your good news. Share with me, please, any good news that you hear, because I love hearing it and I try and spread it around as much as I can. Spread that joy. Okay. Love you all. Subscribe to my channel. Check out my website. Like me on social media. Oh, and I just want a quick note on social media. If I don't answer your friend request or I miss a message or anything else, please, if you are wanting to be in touch with me and are seriously not, I don't want to date. I'm happy with my soulmate. I don't want to date. I don't want to buy into any MLMs and scams and things like that. Please, no. But if you are seriously on the path of ascension and you want to connect with me, send me an email, because my social media is just overwhelmed with ridiculous. I don't even want to go into it. We all know what's going on out there. Okay. So if I haven't responded to you, please, it's not a personal offense. I just turned myself off from it. So email me directly. All right. Love you all. Subscribe, share this video, please. And I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Bye.